Hey folks, Eric here from Dirty Old Sneakers, and I'm super stoked to talk to you about the Garmin Forerunner 955 today. This watch is packed with a whole slew of features that makes it less of an update from the 945 and almost like a whole new watch. But we'll get into that. First, I want to thank Bombas for sponsoring this video. Did you know that socks, underwear, and t-shirts are the number 1, 2, and 3 most requested clothing items in homeless shelters? Bombas donates a clothing item for each item you purchase on bombas.com. Now, because of your support, Bombas has donated more than 50 million essential clothing items that were specifically designed to help meet the needs of those experiencing street homelessness. That's 50 million acts of kindness, all thanks to you. I started using Bombas when I run and ride, and I've never found a more comfortable sock. I am 100% on board. Use the code BOMBAS20 or COMFORT20 for 20% off your first order at bombas.com. I put a link in the description below that will take you to some of the deals on the Bombas site. Okay, so let's start off with the most basic. Who should buy this watch and why? The short answer is anyone that wants it and has $600 in their pocket. The longer answer is folks who like to do multi-sports. Now that's either in the form of tris or duathlons, or just like swimming, cycling, and running, or other outdoor activities, or gym rats, or who just want a cool watch on their wrist. It's for those of us that lead an active lifestyle. Now check out the amount of workout profiles on this watch. It's staggering and includes everything that you see listed here. An amazing array of gym profiles, outdoor recreation, and of course, running profiles, swimming profiles, and cycling profiles. The watch even has features for golfing and some kid activities as well. So there's a wide swath of the public that this watch is going to be made for. Quick disclaimer, I did get this as a loaner unit from the good folks over at playbetter.com and am returning it after I finish this video. Now, while I'm not getting paid to make the review of the 955, I will make a small percentage from each sale if you use the link below at no charge to you. It just goes to help support the channel. So if you're so inclined, it would be super helpful to me if you use that link. So thanks in advance. Okay, let's focus on the newest features of the 955, and I'll comment here and there about the updates since the 945. As always, I want to start with the physical watch. It's a hair's breadth smaller than the 945, coming in at 46.5 by 14.4 millimeters. And even though the watch body is slightly smaller, the screen is actually 1 millimeter bigger. I'm sorry, 1/10 of an inch bigger, coming in at 1.3 inches. Garmin also updated the vibrance of the color screen using 260 by 260 pixels. Weight comes in at 3 grams heavier at 53. Now, Garmin finally added a touchscreen to the Forerunner series, and I'm slowly getting on board with the whole touchscreen thing. I find it useful mostly when looking at the maps. Other than that, I'm still a button guy. I don't know if that makes me old school or not. Battery life is impacted with the introduction of solar charging to the Forerunner lineup. Here's a quick look at the battery life comparisons for the 955 versus the 945. That's a lot of battery life for the 955. Now, you'll notice two things when looking at that chart for the 955. First is the 955 Solar includes music integration, and while that's not new, the 945 had it as well. It is twice the capacity of the 945 with the ability to add up to 2,000 songs from your own library. Or you can always use one of the compatible apps from the Connect IQ store. The second is the third bullet down. You'll see it says GNSS mode plus multiband. What is that? I'm going to take a few minutes to talk about that a little bit. In order to find out, we need to get into the satellite tracking sensors. So let's back up as I need to get into the different kinds of SAT systems there are up in the sky. If you want to skip this part, you can go to this time in the video, but I think you want to stick around to learn a little bit about it. In the US, we use GPS as a generic term to mean satellite tracking. The technical generic term for SAT tracking is Global Navigation Satellite System, or GNSS for short. GNSS refers to a constellation of satellites providing signals from space that transmit position and timing data to GNSS receivers. The receivers, in this case your watch, uses that data to determine your location, speed, movement, whatever. So not to get too technical, but there are different standards for these systems that are used around the world. The one in the US is called Navstar Global Positioning Set Navstar Global Positioning System, which we just call GPS. Russia's is called GLONASS, the EU's is Galileo, and China's Beidou Navigation Satellite System. Now, just because these systems were built to the specs of each of the countries does not mean that you can only use them in each of the countries. That is, you can use GLONASS in the US, Galileo in Afghanistan, or whichever system wherever you are in the world. Hence the term Global Positioning System. Why all the different systems? The short answer is because each country or set of countries, in the case of the EU, has its own satellite technology. All right, back to the watch itself. First, there's All Systems GNS, and that's just what it sounds like. It uses all of the satellites the watch can plug into at the same time. Garmin is able to track with GPS, Galileo, and GLONASS. Now remember, they all cover the entire globe, so using all of them at once will give you that much more accuracy in your stats. So you go from using one to using many. And then there's multiband. Bear with me again. Within each of the systems, there are different bands or frequencies beaming down. GPS might have 3 different bands, Galileo 4 different ones, and GLONASS a bunch of others. Multiband means that you can link to all of the frequencies in each of the systems at once. So you go from something like this to this. Each step up helps to improve your tracking accuracy, but it does come at a cost. As you can see, there's a huge drain on the battery the higher up you go. Using GPS only mode without music, you get up to 42 hours or 49 hours with solar, but using all systems GNSS mode with multiband without music, only 20 hours or 22 hours with solar. That's a 22-hour difference. So maybe you don't want to use it all the time. I think it would be best to use it when trail running under heavy tree cover or in an urban area, say like New York City, for instance. Now, one more note. I'm not sure why Garmin doesn't give you the battery life for all systems without using multiband. Maybe it's the same as all systems plus multiband? They didn't seem to know when I asked them. Other sensors included in the watch don't take so much explanation. They include Garmin's Elevate wrist heart rate monitor, a barometric altimeter for ascent and descent, a compass, a gyroscope, an accelerometer, a thermometer, and a pulse ox blood oxygen saturation monitor. Then there's one of the improvements Garmin added to the Fenix 7 and Epix 2 earlier this year that I've been waiting for forever. Garmin calls it real-time settings sync. This gives you the ability to use the app to pick the number of screens and data points on those screens for different activities. To say it another way, you can choose what you see on each screen during an activity, and it seems that you can add as many data screens as you want. I got bored after I added 15, so I'm not sure how many you can add, but it's more than you're going to need. As an example, here's what my main running screen looks like. I'm very specific about wanting to know my lap pace and my overall average pace. And then I want to see how far I've gone. And then my throwaway is time of day. I just like having it there. I'm not 100% sure why. But if I'm doing a specific workout, I may just want to know distance or heart rate or power. Whatever it is, I can set it up super easily on the app and then just sync it to the watch. This replaces fumbling around with the buttons with what felt like forever to get this all lined up. Now, Garmin was behind the industry on this one. Coros, Polar, and even Amazfit had this option years ago. Now, this watch is jam-packed with all sorts of new analysis features for planning and training. I love the morning report. It's the first thing I look at every morning. It starts by giving you your training readiness based on recent activities and rest, then suggests a workout. You get an update on your HRV status, and I'll explain what that is in a minute. A weather report, a body battery and gains since midnight, how many intensity minutes you've gained this week, your step goal for the day, and a look back at the last 7 days, and ends with a little inspiration. Let's talk about HRV. According to the Cleveland Clinic, HRV, or heart rate variability, is where the amount of time between your heartbeats fluctuates slightly. Even though these fluctuations are undetectable except with a specialized device, they can still indicate current or future health problems, including heart conditions, mental health issues like anxiety and depression. So you can see it gives you a scale on which to see yours. As long as you're staying in the green, I think you're good. The 955 includes a race widget that helps you see if you're on target for your goals for a specific race. Just add the race to your Garmin calendar with or without a time goal and sync it to the watch. What you'll get is a readout of what your expected goal is based on your current fitness, and this is going to adjust based on your training and how it progresses. If you have, shall we say, a less than ordinary training season, it could help you adjust your goals accordingly. Now, Garmin seems to be adding the stamina feature for running and cycling activities to all watches since the Epix 2 and the Phoenix 7 came out. What is it? Simply put, stamina tracking is available for bike and running activities, like I said, and uses heart rate and VO2 max to determine how much gas you have left in the tank. You can view a data screen that will either show you the amount of time you have left at the current exertion level or the distance that you can cover, or both. I have one question for you. Why? Let's pull back for a sec and look at this from a reality standpoint. I'm an average runner at best. Look at me. My marathon PR is 3:44:06. P.S. I stopped to tie my shoe at one point and also stopped to pee, so it could have been 3:43, but I digress. My point is, I like to train. I sometimes like to do running workouts. I love to ride my bike. I love to swim, and I would like to one day beat my marathon PR. However, for me, running is still a completely mental game. I need to do everything I can during a speed work to turn off the negativity that tells me I need to stop the insanity and just go back home and sit on the couch eating bonbons. I don't need my watch, which is using an algorithm developed for the broadest section of humankind, to tell me if I have any gas left in the tank. I don't see, at least from where I am today, how this can be helpful. I feel like professional runners aren't glancing down at their wrists towards the end of a race to see if they're able to surge for the win. They just do it, right? Because maybe it's a mental game for them too. Isn't that how I should approach running? I love everything about this watch, from the size to the design. I was sold on it even before the solar charging. I think that it's just a great overall package. So well done, Garmin. Now remember, if you're looking for a Garmin Forerunner 955 for yourself or for another athlete, please use the link in the description of this video. I'm going to make a small percentage from each sale with no extra charge to you. It just goes to help support the channel, like I said earlier. And if you like this video, I'm obligated by the YouTube terms of service to ask you to smash that like button to get it into more eyeballs. I'm also obligated to ask you to subscribe to my channel if you like gear reviews, race reviews, New York City Marathon tips, or anything endurance sports related. And hit that bell next to it so you get notified when I put new videos up. Well, it looks like once a month these days, but I'm hoping to do more. So thanks again for tuning in, folks, and I'll see you next time.